We're now in the second off season under new general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. We've been letting Kwesi cook because he is the Quest father, and I do believe that he and Kevin O'Connell are going to eventually lead the Vikings to that Jerome Bardi Untaimo, but there's been some questions about the turnover of the roster, parting ways with some very name-brand veterans from the Spielman regime, and a couple of drafts where, 2022, bit of a redshirt season, a lot of injuries, a lot of not getting the time of day, and this year, adding Jordan Addison and company, so hopefully things will start coming together, and the Vikings roster will be one of the younger, faster, and hungrier teams in the league. And ESPN, Mike Clay and Seth Warda did up a rankings of all the NFL roosters. People get mad when I say rooster. Don't care. We're going to say it more. And then also highlighting the strengths and weaknesses. So the Vikings clock in at number 16, but we'll get to that in a sec. So 16, of course, the prime meridian, just in the middle, just like the worst of the best and the best of the worst. So they projected the Viking starters. Offense is good to go. Cousins, Madison, JJ, Addison, KJ. You could debate whether Addison or KJ is 2 or 3. Doesn't really matter. Hawkinson, Josh Oliver. Best tight end duo in the league. And offensive line. Knock on all the wood. If they stay healthy, the continuity, they can be elite with Darisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, as well as Brian O'Neill. Defensively, so you got Phillips, Dean Lowry, coming over from the Packers, as well as Jonathan Bullard, and mixing it all up in there along the defensive line. Still don't really have that true nose tackle. That's why I believe in Kyrus Tonga. Edge rushers, Daniil, maybe, as well as Marcus Davenport, the free agent. Then off balls, you have Hicks and Asamoah. I do think that Asamoah year 2 is really going to step up. Cornerback-wise, Murphy is really the only cornerback that you can say for sure is going to start. He's got Evans and Booth down, both second-year players. I would actually say that I think Mekhi Blackman, the rookie third-round pick out of USC, does have the inside track over Booth because at OTA's minicamp, it was Murphy, Evans, and Blackman getting runs with the ones primarily. And then you got Harrison and Bynum. Also put in Josh Metellus as that roving third safety, plus Lewisine is going to get some time as well. But this is what they wrote about the Vikings finishing 16th. Strongest unit, strong unit, offensive tackle. Minnesota spent a ton of draft capital on the offensive line in recent years, and it's starting to pay off. Left tackle Christian Darisaw enjoyed a breakout season 2022, and only Trent Williams had the highest PFF grade. And only Trent Williams had a higher PFF grade among tackles. Right tackle Brian O'Neill checked in at 9th overall at PFF, and his 94.7% pass block win rate was 3rd amongst tackles last season. And yeah, Brian O'Neill is an absolute stud. Hopefully he returns from that Achilles. And Darisaw, this isn't hyperbole, man, but given his size, strength, and agility and speed, I think that he does have a chance to be one of the best, most well-rounded left tackles in the game. I think he makes that leap this year. Then weakest unit, cornerback. P squared, Shondon, Cameron Dantzler, Duke Shelley were Minnesota's top 4 corners in 2022 snaps, and none of them are on the 2023 roster. Well, you would think that the top 4 corners on a team that was 31st in yards, 28th in points would be a good thing. I don't know why they say weakest. Maybe most question marks would be fair. Although I actually think that off-ball linebacker has more question marks. But Byron Murphy Jr. was a quality replacement for Peterson atop the depth chart, but the rest of the room is unproven with a combined 297 NFL snaps. Recent day 2 and 3 draft picks, Evans, Booth, and Blackman are ticketed for massive roles this season. And yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen along the defensive backfield with Murphy, Evans, Blackman. Booth will be in there as well, but I actually feel okay. Just sifting through and finding out who is the best of that group. I think we'll certainly be fine for the Vikings. Then they continued. X factor for 2023. Caleb Evans and Booth Jr. I'm echoing Mike here, but the pair of young and proven corners are the clear leverage point for this team. If they struggle, the defense will too. If they succeed, the Vikings will succeed. Suddenly be a team with a solid pass rush and coverage abilities. Well, that's the thing too, where it is a chicken or the egg situation, where the Vikings were in the bottom third of the league last year in blitzes, pressures, and sacks. And yes, that they were that even with Zadarius Smith playing well for half a season, and Danielle Hunter leading the team in sacks. So it is a chicken or egg sort of situation. Like, if the Vikings have a prodigious pass rush, which Brian Flores coming in, he's going to get them blitzing. It doesn't matter if Danielle is here or not, and they're going to send bodies, and they're hopefully going to get some heat on the quarterback. And there's a big difference covering for 2.5 seconds versus 4 seconds in the National Football League. And I think that if the pass rush improves, look at how these cornerbacks magically improved from last year. Because as they point out, I mean, the Vikings lost their top 4 corners last year. And they make that out to be a big deal, but it really isn't. Lastly, non-starter to know, DeWayne McBride, the rookie 7th-round pick, led the FBS in rushing yards per game. It was 5th in rushing yards after contact last season. While Madison is a new starter, he's recorded negative 42 rush yards over expectation last season, according to NFL.com Next Gen Stats. So don't be stunned if McBride gets a look. And I do think that DeWayne McBride could serve a role as an early down running back. I think that Ty Chandler would be the passing down option, which makes most sense. Kinkenny really is a wild card. See if he can transition from all-pro kick returner to that running back room. So, I mean, McBride, there's a reason why they prioritized McBride in the 7th round. Make sure they secured him. They didn't want to gamble on him as a UDFA, and I think that he does have a chance to, he doesn't have the burst that Dalvin does, and obviously he doesn't have the passing game prowess, but also UAB didn't pass the ball a ton. But as a 2-down running back, I love his vision. I love his agility. I love his ability to stay on his feet. So, yeah, I'm absolutely in agreement there with DeWayne McBride. But, I mean, having the Vikings clocking in at 16 here, and not spoiling their rankings, but the Vikings do have the best roster, according to them, of the NFC North. The Lions were close behind, and then it was the Bears down below, and then the Packers were bringing up the rear with the gear, even though Bucky Brooks thinks that they're going to win the North. But the offense, even without Dalvin, I would say the offense as a whole improved. Defensively, I understand the danger of saying this, but you can't get much worse. And Flores is going to ramp this up to 11, and they're going to be aggressive. They're going to get after it. And hell, if they give up points in yards, they gave up points in yards last year. But the X factor is going to be Brian Flores, and I think that this defense is going to generate pressure. They're going to generate turnovers, and they're going to be very opportunistic. But, 16 at this stage, I guess. I guess that's fine. But your thoughts are thoughts. ESPN ranks the Vikings as the 16th best rooster in the NFL heading into the 2023 season. Fair? Nah. Too low? Way too low? Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.